Hi, my name's Neil and welcome back to Retro for You. On this week's episode we're going to be building this. Now this is the Retro Chip Tester Pro 1.2K. Now I've been after one of these for a while, I've been looking at them, but saw they were rather expensive. But I took the plunge and bought the blank board from Retro Lemon. Saying the blank board, it's got the chip already programmed and the crystal and a couple of caps. Everything else though is blank and I had to source all the parts. So what we're going to do this week is hopefully get this built up. I'm going to start with the resistors because there's an awful lot of them. Now there is something I read on the instruction manual about the diodes. So diodes have to be tested to check they're in spec, because apparently they have to be spot on spec, because otherwise it can cause some chips to get blown up, etc. So without further ado, let's crack on and get all these resistors done. I've just tested one of the resistors here to check they're in spec. Should be 470, they're coming up 468, so that's good enough for me. Now I've got 54 of these to install, so just listen to some music while we crack on and get them done. What I like to do is, I know a lot of people put tape across now, but I like to solder from the top and the bottom. That's all the 47 ohm resistors in place. So next what we're going to do is to just crack on with the next lot of resistors. Probably go for the 1K ones. So these are the 1K ones, and there are 7 of these. So if you're looking for the last 1K one like I was, it is here, R81, and it's right on the end of the board on the left hand side. Let's just get that put in place now. I'm just going to get these all soldered into place and then we'll move on to the next lot. You can see now the board is getting more populated. Next we have these 4.7Ks. Now we have 9 of these, and these are just going to be populated in now and soldered into place. So here's my test rig on this breadboard for checking these diodes. Now you have to check them twice. First you need to check them with a 1K resistor here. You need to check the voltage between 4.8 and no more than 5.3 volt. Anything in between there closer to 5 is a lot better. So what we're going to do is we've got this diode in place and we're just going to measure the voltage and see what we're getting. So you can see there we're getting 5.98, which is basically really good for that one, and it's plenty stable as well. You can see here we have got, if I go to here, we've got the 9 volt going in, but then on this side here we have 5.98, which is good. So that one is passable, but then also we need to test it with a 470 UF as well, just to check that we still get the same reading on it. So that's what we're going to be doing, is we'll just get the 470 in and we'll give it another read and test. So now we have 5 volt going in and we need to just test this again. So we can check we got the 5 volt going in, which we have. Now on here we should have at least a value of 4.85. So we need to be between 4.85 and 5. So let's just see. Yeah, 4.943. So that again is a passable one. So I'm happy with that, and that can now go through into the board. Now I need to do this 32 times. So I guess I'll join you after I've had all these tested. Now this is the first 16 diodes in place. These have all been tested, as I showed you at the start, so these are all within spec. So all that's left to do now is to just solder these in place, and again I'm going to solder from the top. Now all the diodes are in place, they all tested out good. I did have a few fails, but not so many, and I guess I was lucky with that batch. Now we're going to replace the capacitors. Most of them are ceramic capacitors, but there is one electrolytic capacitor here, which goes in this place here. So let's just get that soldered into place. So you can't go wrong. You've got a line here, which is negative, and that goes to the white line there, and it just pushes in just like so. So the next ones on the list are the 22 PF ceramic ones, and they've already been placed before when I bought the board, so I don't need to worry about them. So what's next is the 104 or the 100 NF capacitors. So let's just get those sorted and get them installed. Next capacitor is C1, which is a 474 or 0.47 UF. And the last capacitor is here, which is a 224 or a 220 NF. Next we have a couple of pots. This is a 1K pot and this is for the volume. Next we have a 10K pot which controls the contrast on the actual physical screen on the LCD that will be fitted. Now we have a socket. Just make sure that the half moon goes to the half moon drawing on the board, just like so, and that should drop in. Now what I'm going to do with this is I always use some blue tack to just hold it down so I can flip it over just like so, and then I can solder on the other side. Next we're going to solder these two relays in. Now make sure pin 1, marked by the big dot, is down onto the square there, just like so. So just drop them into place. The ones I'm using are the G6K2PY, but there is a lot of these you can use. Make sure it's a 5V one though, because there's different voltage of these relays obviously. And then again, all I'm going to do is get some blue tack and hold them in place. So next we have 8 Scotty diodes, and these are the 1N5817s, and they go along here in a long row. So let's get those installed. It's another day and we're going to carry on with this retro chip tester. So transistors we're soldering in today are the MPSA06. There's a total of 11 of these transistors, and they go along here and along here in 2 banks. So let's quickly get them soldered into place. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to solder just one leg on each, just on this side, just so it holds it in place so when I flip it upside down. So I'll just carry on and do that. Next we have even more transistors, the MPSA56, and there's a total of 14 of these, so we're just going to crack on and get these put back into place now. So next we have 5 BC547 transistors, and these are the last of the transistors to go in. So looking at that board now, it's looking more complete. We're actually getting there, guys. There's the LEDs put in, there's a socket here, there's a couple of jumpers, a buzzer, some switches, the USB ports, and some power regulators here at the back. Then we should be ready to power this on for its first stage, just to see if it works. So wish me luck guys, and let's crack on with it. Next we just have a poly fuse that will go in between here. Again with solder from the top. Now along the front here we have 5 switches. For powering this on, you have many options. We have a DC socket, which I have here, I'm going to fit. A USB-A, which I'm going to fit here. And I did also have this here, which is a micro SD socket, but I seem to have mislaid it somewhere. So for now, I'm just going to fit these two. I'm going to power it off the A to test it in a bit, because we need this one, I think, for the 9 volt. So this needs to be fitted. Next we have the LCD. Now make sure you buy the right LCD, because a lot of people end up buying the 2-line LCD where you need the 4-line LCD. Also you don't need this I2C adapter. So what I'm going to have to do with this one is desolder this along here and replace it with a pin header. So I'll quickly get that done. Now I just bust out the Heiko desoldering gun. Just like that, it's off. So we're just going to solder this pin header onto this screen, just like so. So we're just going to press it down onto that, and then we're just going to go along and just quickly solder that up. So that is now soldered into place. Lovely. Now what you need to do is return to the board. Now what I've decided to do, because we have a buzzer under here and also this potentiometer, I've decided to put it on a socket here so we can just plug and unplug the screen. I think that's the best process. So all I'm going to do is to put that socket in place. We're going to get some blue tack again, or Smurf poo, or whatever you call it, snowman's poo, and we're just going to put it on each side like that, and then just going to flick it over and get that soldered into place. Now we have this socket, we can get the screen and we can just literally plug that into place like so. So now we've got this soldered into place, and this here we can literally now just plug the screen on like so, and we will put a bit of a post between these two here just to keep that steady. Next we have a power regulator. Now the one that goes here is an IRF 5305. I'm just going to drop that in for now in here and just quickly solder that on the top. Now I did want to put some heat sinks on these, but the ones I ordered came and they are for standing, so they're not going to work, so I still need to source some heat sinks for that. But for now we're just going to go with this quickly and keep an eye on it and just hope it doesn't go too hot. Next we had a load of jumpers to install, and these were all on various points of the board. The next thing to do is to get this socket installed here. This is one that allows us to just put the chips in for testing. It's easier said than done. We can see now it's getting more and more complete. Now we do need to lift this screen off, like I say. I put the post underneath as well, and also some underneath to act as feet. So what we've got to do next is to install this here buzzer. Also this other power regulator here. Now I did say I haven't got any heat sinks still, I'm still waiting on them, but this one here is for the barrel jack. So if you want to use a barrel jack, you basically put these jumpers on here, and if you want to use USB, you put the jumpers on here. Now we're going to be testing this with USB, so I'll add those jumpers on as well at the same time. So it's a matter of just adding 2 jumpers on like so. Okay, so it's all looking quite complete. I'll get the rest of it soldered on and then we'll carry on with the build. We also have some jumper wires here that just go from one point to the other, and for this I'm going to use my favourite Kynar wire. Now we need to add this header here into here, which will allow us to connect the SD card, which I do have, but I don't have it connected at this moment, but it's good to put the header in place. Now that is the board basically built up apart from here, which you use for programming. I haven't got the header, I'm waiting for that to come. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick the screen on, and we're just going to apply some power off a USB and see if the actual thing actually turns on or not. The power here, look at that, it's powered straight on, and I can hear the beeper, and I can see we've got other logics, the customs, the programming, the service, the SRAMs. It all seems to be working. It's the first time we've put something together and it's worked straight away. That's brilliant. So what we got next is this DC board here, which sits on top here and allows us to have different voltages. So we're just going to put this to one side now, and we're going to quickly get this built up. Now the caps are in place already, so I'm just going to solder them up. We've got 3 47 UF there and a 470 UF here, and then there's a couple of power regulators and some smaller caps and some resistors. So this is the first thing that has gone wrong, as usual with these builds, and me, these things can happen. Now it seems to be that I have no 750 or 220 resistors, and I've got so many resistors in this shed. I just thought I'm not going to order anymore because I always ended up double and end up with loads of the same resistors. I am in the process of sorting them out and these cupboards behind me, but I haven't managed to do that yet, and I've catalogued so much onto a database. I'm sure, as you're all aware, when you're doing these type of projects, you collect loads and loads of stuff and you never know where it is. You end up triple buying, double buying, etc., and it always happens. So I'm going to get some 750s and 220s ordered. So back to the main unit here. I'm just going to pull that off. Now, the one thing you eagle-eyed people have probably noticed, this socket here is wrong, and I'll tell you why. We tried to put in a memory chip and oh look, it won't fit. I've gone and put the wrong socket in the tester. Now I'm sure this has happened to other people. It's easily done. So unfortunately I can't actually test any memory in this at the moment, and also we do need this add-on board here, but I can't actually finish that as well at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to revisit this next week with another video, but also revisit the Harlequin as well, because I've got an update on that. So it'll just be like a video with the Harlequin and maybe this as well, and maybe we can test some of the Harlequin chips in this, which will be good. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to clip this down. This is a blank 74C64, so we'll go 27, okay, and select a 2764, which is there, and press OK. Now that looks like it's reading, which is good, and it does say EPROM is empty, so that is okay. Now I've got another one here, which is a 27256. So again, we just jump to 27256, press OK. Now I guess where it's got the black squares, that's where data is. So this has got some data in it, but at least it's passed. It doesn't say it's faulty. I've just pressed again. Okay, should I pulled it out when it was doing that? I don't know. Sorry, I didn't realise. I reset that. Now I don't think there's anything else I can really test in this at the moment. So you can see now it does seem to be working. We do need to get it working properly next time with the new socket fitted. I'm so glad I have got the Heiko desoldering gun, because it's going to make getting that off easier without damaging the board. Now I'm happy with this build. I enjoyed the build. It is a good thing to build, I guess, if you're doing a lot of repairs. I'd say it's quite expensive if you're just like doing a few repairs, but if you're doing a lot of repairs, this is going to help me a lot. I'm sure it is. With testing memory chips, I've got it set to for the Amiga, which should be good, and also the Spectrum memory chips, the C64 memory chips, anything like that it tests. Like I say, I still need to read the manual. There's a massive manual of this with what it does. I've no idea what chips it does, but you can see there it does all the 74 logic chip tests as well, which is good, as well as other things. On that note, I'll see you in the outro. Thanks for watching, everybody. We made it to the end of another video. Now the purpose of the video was to get this thing built, and it is now built, and it now works. Well, not fully working, but about, say, 60% working, because we can't test everything due to this, the wrong socket. So if you are building one of these, be cautious of that. And also a couple of missing resistors up here as well. But I have ordered the parts, they are on the way, and the main part of this video was to get this built, and that is being achieved. So thumbs up to me for that. Don't forget to check out our YouTube Retro Repairers group. It's down below, a link to our Discord. Come along and say hello. And also check out my fellow YouTubers, Captain Commodore, 8-Bit Retro Refix, and JosibRetroBits. Also, while you're here, don't forget to drop a comment down below, even if it's hello. And if you're new here and haven't done already, then please hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel. This weekend is the live stream where we all get together. Myself, Captain Commodore, 8-Bit Retro Refix, and Josip. This time it'll be on 8-Bit Retro Refix's channel, so don't forget to come along and check that out tonight at 7:30 PM. So on that note, I shall see you next time on Retro for You. See you soon, guys. Bye.